Hello guys, and welcome to our round number 3 matchup, and this is actually gonna be a big one. If you guys are, all the way well invested in the deepest, darkest recesses and just the history of the StarCraft 2 PH scene, you should know these names. And well, joining me of course is one of those old timies again, Mr. PandaUser, has been around the scene longer than me. Can you take it away and introduce our players?
Okay, so it's going to be J- um, Jack the Reaper versus Dion. So actually, even at the start of the days when I was playing competitively before even shoutcasting, JDR has been in the scene, helping around, even hosting tournaments. Dion also was a faithful participator of most of these tournaments as well. So I'm pretty excited to see what both of these players are going to be putting up right now. I've even actually, in my personal experience, went up against JDR. That's what I call him. Um, I was surprised that he's joining right now as part of the goal to Diamond. And Dion, I've never faced him, but I think as I recall, both of these players are solid people. So I'm pretty excited to see what's gonna come up against these two.
And yeah, like as Panda said, well, these two guys are pretty important in the history of the StarCraft 2 PH scene. So now, let me preface this. Dion used to be Grandmaster. Recently come
Mm.
back into the game and still fits into the Golden Diamond bracket, is in Diamond right now, if I remember correctly. So, Dion
Yeah.
is trying to find his form back into StarCraft 2, but we have seen him really compete with the best of the best in the PH scene, as well as Dell in the regional SEA ANZ scene at the same time. So well way back in Heart of the Swarm, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
as well as the early days of Legacy of the Void. So that was like 3-4 years back, that kind of thing. On the other side, JackDReaper. If you guys were in tune with the Sea
Wings of
Games,
Liberty.
JackDReaper, of course, Wings of Liberty, that kind of guy. But the big thing right now has recently done is he was the general manager of the StarCraft 2 team during the SEA Games, which we pretty much won because of Ender and his amazing performance. So it was JackDReaper with Exoblazer, with Ender and Nux to really form that core, and well, they did such a great job representing our country. But right now, we are going to be representing them in this cast, and we are going to be represented with the action onto these three maps. First things first, it's Eternal Empire. Second on the list is going to be Zen LE, and third is going to be Simulacrum. And in TVZ, Mr. Panda, you're going to get your wish. You're going to get some battle cruisers later on into the game. But what do you think of this upcoming matchup so far?
Upcoming matchups. Like these are both like technically diamond players right now, so pretty excited. I wouldn't be surprised since it's a ZVT matchup. Marine Marauders, Widow Mines, like the bio comp is really good right now, as I've seen in the recent GSL matches. Zerg, pretty much when you're up against a Terran player, it's going to be Zerglings, Banelings, Mutas, probably. E- Even Roach Ravagers against a mech, and our best friend, the free units, the Swarm hosts. But if they make it into that point, and then there's going to be like battle cruisers from the Terran player. But I don't think they'll heavily commit into that as well. So it's going to be unharassed, but it depends on what play style it's gonna end up with in the later parts of the game.
I like that point, Mr. Panda, because you do bring up a pretty good point on the harass, and I feel like both sides can really harass each other with a number of different tools. You can go for the drops with the Marines and the Medivacs, especially on something like
Yep.
Eternal Empire, and Nidus Worm Swarm Host can be such a good way to really hamper out your opponent. And many of these maps, honestly, all these three maps, you can do such a thing. You go for the drop play, you can be really as pesky as possible, and honestly, just try to choke your opponent out in terms of that economy. But it seems like our two players are ready to go, and we are very excited to bring you guys this action, this matchup, and I'm really hyped for this one because it's pretty much a tale as old as time, and we are going back to the past. So you gotta find Samurai Jack, Mr. Panda. He's probably here
Sorry, Jack.
somewhere.
I
Yeah,
thought
it's
you
like
were.
in the world of Aku. Way back when, in the world, dude, in the world
I thought we were
of
gonna
Wings
say
of
Beauty and the
Liberty.
Beast. bro.
No, 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 no. I got you there. But you know what we got? We got an amazing Zerg versus Terran matchup coming our way, and I'm very excited for this one. Are you guys ready for round number 3? Seems like our players are ready to go, and let's get into the matchup.
All right.
Let's go, Panda. Here we have veterans of the scene, truly. Honestly, it feels like we are back in the early 2010s, and if I remember correctly, I was in college not giving a crap about esports whatsoever. But let's get into this matchup, and let's start things off by introducing our players. First things first, on the top right of Eternal Empire, it is going to be the Timeless Man himself. It's going to be the Moonhead back here for our purple Zerg, Dione.
Woo!
And on the side, here on the bottom left, oh, he's whipping out his signature color even. It's still the Reapening, yet again. Death on your doorstep. One more time. JDR back into action. It's our pink Terran, JackDReaper.
Yeah, so excited for both of these players coming back into the scene, showing their interests more in the StarCraft scene. I'm just gonna point it out there that aside from being the oldies of this game, and even in the scene, like they showed their interest. Like, you know what, it's quarantine. I'll join. I'll just burn some time on a Saturday day, and I'm glad to see these people are here, and more are just coming back to the scene. It's really fun.
Exactly, and see already such standards here for both JackDReaper and Dione. They respect each other so much, and they are going to be playing that Macrophos hatchery coming online here for Dione. In the meantime, JackDReaper queuing up immediately on the command center, and it really goes to show that these two players are so in tune with both one another, as well as how to play StarCraft 2 in general, knowing exactly what to do, knowing exactly where to scout, knowing exactly how to play things out. And well, seems like we are going to be in for some standards here into the Gold to Diamond tournament. Now, there is a fun fact that JackDReaper gave us. So apparently, every single time that he and Dione have matched up, is always Dione winning. He can't remember how many times he's lost, but he knows he hasn't won any of them. So yeah, that's a pretty painful statistic. That's a little heartbreaking on it for Jack. So maybe we are gonna get that one. Look at that star step. Look at how the Marine even doesn't. He didn't even stop for like a little bit of that motion. He was shooting while moving. Pretty ridiculous stuff. Yeah. JackDReaper. If I remember correctly, he does play a pretty mean bio. If my memory does keep me in that, in tune.
Way back in the heart of the Swarm days when I went up against JDR, he really loves his bio. He apparently went the mech meta those days, but in a ZVT matchup, he always goes bio, and he's really good at it. Especially with the Widow Mine placements, like he knows where to place him, where to bait him. That's what I can say.
Yeah, it's just hook, line, and sinker. And well, these two married men gonna be going for a brawl here and now. So basically, shoutouts around. They do give shoutouts to distinguished others. We got Gamma Ray on the side of JackDReaper, as well as Jennifer for Dione. So much love to them. That's pretty much it there. But in the meantime, you know what is gonna be entwined into this one? The Queen as well as the Reaper. Always a fight to remember. Cluster bomb to get on away. Seems like JDR surviving with the jetpack on, and it is a pretty interesting strat here for JDR, because by the 3-minute mark, he's going for step back already. Should be done by around 5 minutes, but the fact of the matter is he's going for double Hellions instead, and he probably won't have enough Marines to really capitalize on that upgrade at the very start.
What is the Season 1 Legacy of the Void? JDR is really pulling out some old stuff right here, like Hellions and Liberators. That's old stuff right there, man.
Yeah, Hellions, Liberators, a tech lab with a single barracks. Really interesting build here for JDR, but it seems like he knows how to execute it so well. Like, sure, it might be a little outdated, sure, it might be a little different from what we expect, but it really is all about the execution. And while JDR is just basically trying to get a little bit of damage done, sees the Roaches though. Not the best matchup, of course, for the Hellions, because these Roaches are very tanky in the first place. He'll try to defend, and he will have to wall on in because he doesn't have much against the anti-armor, that's for sure. He's gonna try to get the Liberator to set up the zone though, and that should be enough to fend off Dione for the time being.
Yeah, like I think these players know each other so well that they're actually just countering each other. Like he just goes for the liberators to counter the roaches. Doesn't even bother going for a battle cruiser at that point. But yeah, going for the liberator is just gonna help defend at this point. Like as soon as he saw it, but he's gonna have to be careful with those liberators at this point because Ravagers are a very good option against Terrans at this point. But he doesn't have tanks, so he's gonna have to be careful with those liberators at the same time.
Ravagers are very good against things that don't move, and JackDReaper able to move at the last moment, surviving with the liberator. But you know, the cooldown in Crucible, not very long whatsoever. And this can be another cycle of those orbs flying on in yet again. Speaking of the flyers though, finally JDR is gonna get the tech structures that he needs. He's going for multiple barracks, he is gonna go for the reactor tech onto the starport. And this is pretty interesting for JDR. He sets up command center. He was looking to get a third, but he realizes it needs to defend. He needs to put something pretty tanky in the way. And eventually, he will have to lift it down. Puts it back down again. And whoa, oh, JDR, don't kill your command center. The bile should be enough. That was very close, honestly. The SCV's getting the repair in time. JackDReaper at that store, able to survive it again.
Nice bait with the Widow Mine right there. Yet they found out at the last minute, but just, you know, decimates most of the units.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a bit low, like, could have gone for it. What's that SCV doing right there?
The SCV can't decide. The SCV can't decide if he's going to go for the bunker or the command center, but in behind all of this, it is going to be another Widowman hits onto the high ground. And now the Overlord will get shut down. Now let's just look at the Zerg's base real quick. He is going for the Spire Tech in behind. He is on 3 base, can go for some mutant play, but since he's going pretty heavy on the gas investment with the Ravagers to begin with, he won't have the big ball for the harass. So potentially some Corruptors into the field to shut down these medevacs later on and can play the Broodlord later on into the game.
Yeah, like I said, when JDR knows where his placements are supposed to be, he's doing things right. Oh, you should repair that bunker to at least.
Oh, never mind. Mr. Panda. Seems like we are going to get a tech swap basically here from Dione. Going for +1 on the Lings. He is going to go for the Baneling Nest as well. So it is going to turn into the 3-base Mutalist Ling army.
The Bane Mutas, like, it's not a surprise at this point.
I'm pretty surprised,
especially
honestly. Like, honestly, I'm pretty surprised because it looked like he was going to invest in the Roach Ravager all-in. But at the same time, he does want to shut down basically the bio-based composition there from JDR. So I feel like Dione really understanding this matchup and really finding a little bit of that extra dimension into this game. But the +1 on both the army weapons as well as the armor on those infantry. Going to be online already here for JDR. He wants to go for a drop onto that main mineral line. Interesting Spore Crawler placement here for Dione. Not going to be onto the middle line itself. Will be getting the initial volley on those sides. And what do you think? Well, it won't protect it directly, but it will try to get a little bit of damage done. In the first place, Ravager is going to be there.
Both of these players know each other so well that they're willing to play irregularly. Like, what's not the meta? Like, JDR is also just trying to harass at the same time, and it's like Dione even knows. So he's pulling back most of his units to counter this harassment. 6, oh dude, 8 workers do go down, and good placements by the Helians right there. A run by with the Mutalist is going to be going on that second base, but unfortunately not going to get enough SCPs in the process.
Slav harassment on both sides. Drones and SCP both do go down, but I believe that was a pretty good trade. And yeah, in terms of the units lost, look, 2 millions do go down and back onto the field we go. Mutable trying to get a hit. Missile turret is already in position. +1 coming online here for Dione. And that Swarm of Zergs might be able to get a big encroachment later on into this game. We do see more and more of these Marines still coming online. And it is going to be that Baneling Speed looking to get into this one. Third base will not be able to get any effect whatsoever because JackDReaper has to defend against Dione, who really puts in the pressure in the front lines.
Oh, those Ravagers were just caught out of place, but I think he was trying to to destroy the third base, but unfortunately it was lifted up just at the right time, and the Ravagers were late to the party. He is committing to this Mutalist, but it's gonna get destroyed by Marines.
It's gonna be loaded for
Liberator.
God. He has to be
Oh,
really
yeah.
solid with the micro. Rapid regeneration, gonna be a good deal. The Liberators can be good against Immutable, but you need more of them, that's for sure. And that's how it's Immutable is having a field day. They are just gonna go for a pickup onto the Medivacs. And I think I like the strategy from Dione. So use the Mutalisk to get rid of the Medivacs earlier on. Not gonna be enough sustain here with JackDReaper. And when the Banelings do come from the roll on in, it is gonna be a 7-10 split, getting knocked down by the best pinball wizard whatsoever. Bowling is afoot. As JackDReaper right now gonna be setting up the pins that are the Marines. And in the meantime, Dione right now getting a little bit of scout, but the hooks are into play. Look at the speed of these Banelings trying to get on through, burning through the front line.
Dude, that was a bad engagement for the Zerg right there. Just went right in, and it was a straight line for those Marines to just shoot them one by one. Burk left and right. These Marines are just going in that third base, killing everything left and right. Looks like JDR is gonna have this in the bag.
One front line there, and JDR gets the tempo on. Now you do want to put in the pressure as seems like someone's disconnected. Yeah. Oh my God.
Come on,
Okay,
man.
Mizzle hurting us for some reason. You gotta get a drop there. Drop if ever. Drop if ever. That's kind of. It's kind of interesting. So Missile, okay, with the lag there, but JDR onto the third base. It was pretty much a pretty good way to win that fight out because, as you said, Mr. Panda, I feel like Dione was really using that ramp as an advantage, but since there was still enough high ground vision, was able to get the initial shots on, and as you said, the cascade on damage into the front line. This is just gonna be a good way to pretty much shut down those Banelings. A number of Marines did go down, but it just wasn't enough, and JDR able to shut down a base on the other side in return.
Yeah, it's not enough. Like, Dione is really high on resources, but he's really down on bases and even units to defend. I'm surprised that JDR didn't go for the killing blow right then and there. Should have taken advantage at that moment. Like, oh man, I killed so much Banelings, I killed so much Zerglings, I should be pushing out. But he'd rather defend the space. And I think a run-in is going to be coming by, but will there be enough to defend this? I think not. Those Banelings are going to be in the optimal position. The SCPs going down left and right. 7 SCPs do go down. 10 more. But Zerglings are going to be denied the entrance to the main base.
Yeah, I can't even get on through, but the thing to note is Dione only has 28 army to JackDReaper 78, and as you said, could have actually gotten the advantage there, but it is a pretty reinforced front line. It is a good way to scare your opponent off, and you would think that maybe they have more in behind, because that was a big investment from Dione, but it feels like it just wasn't enough. And now Dione is doing something that we don't really expect too much from a Zerg of his caliber, as, hey, you see these buildings? You need to repair them, Jack.
It's going to burn!
It's gonna burn! It's
Baby,
gonna burn. Hey Panda, you're a baker, right? So what's the point where bread burns? Like, how do you know? Like, it's pretty obvious when bread is burned, but
yeah,
how do you know? How do you know when, like, in the oven it's gonna burn or not now? Like
the
before.
smell.
The smell. Okay, so yeah, go for it. Explain.
The smell. Like,
the
you
smell.
know, if it's been in there for too long, just like this game.
Is it? Do you think it's too long? You know what else is gonna be too long? The Banelings are taking way too long to get on through. High ground is said. JackDReaper was like, no.
Baby. Let's go.
That's a pretty good scan. Honestly, JackDReaper is anticipating Dione and his antics. And honestly, as I was saying about Dione, I'm really surprised that he's floating on so much minerals right now, because he might need a lot more usage onto it. Maybe Proxy Hatcher might help him on his main, but he already has one already. A few more queens might actually help things out. This is a good way to really use up that money. But we are coming to a point where JackDReaper has a pretty significant advantage. 67 workers, 95 army to 51 and 66, and upgrades abound for the Marines. But at the same time, Dione right now gonna go for the push. And you know what's difficult, Panda, is this minimap is covered in purple and pink, pretty similar colors, and we'll be seeing just action unfolding inside. Supply depot wall will get shut down. JackDReaper needs to figure things out as SCPs are falling on over. And oh no, Jack is caught out of position. What a run by here for Dione. Really putting in the hurts. SCPs, 30 of them going down. It's just a worker frenzy. It's just really not happening. It seems like sometimes the EMP is online. It shuts down all of those suits. And here for JackDReaper, he loses 51 SCPs. I don't even know where to look on the map anymore because everything is just dying on the worker side.
Yeah, 52 workers go down. That was like half of the army that JDR has. But yeah, at the same time, I think he's doubting himself. He's not even trying to push out. As soon as he saw those paintings, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to engage this. JDR should be decisive with his actions and just try to push in, because as the way things are, if the Zerg player prolongs this and just keeps distracting JDR with how it's going, he's gonna lose this match. Oh man, Dion even loses like four mutalisks at the same time. I think this should be the moment that JDR should be taking the killing blow.
JackDReaper has to kill him right now. It has
Yeah,
to be him investing this army, because if he loses this, he is gone from this game. Because Dion's doing such a good job in the economic side. Like, look at that. The Zerglings are really going everywhere and anywhere. And JackDReaper has to decide to go for this. Alright, here right now. Into the front line we go. No minerals left. One-way trip here for JackDReaper. It's either he wins now, or he will never win into this matchup. Eternal Empire might be the day that JackDReaper might get the top-up on against Dione. But speaking of the top up, onto the high ground we go. And Marines right now going for the pellets of those
Marines
shots.
just walked in. Oh, there they are.
They're just casually strolling on in. Mules right now back into the field. Queen's helping on out as well. And it seems like for Jack, he's trying to bait out some Banelings into the forefront. And speaking of Banes, there we go yet again. Now Jack still has the big army advantage. He's still very wary though of pushing into this main base, Panda.
Yeah, like I don't know why he's doubting himself. Like you should just go in.
Oh, Banelings, here they come! Dione with the cascade! And that is just gonna be so much acid flowing into everything! Dione cleaning pretty much everything into the front line so far. And he's gonna be buying time to get another cycle, because more Banelings are rolling on, and boom goes the dynamites! JackDReaper has run out of time, has run out of army, and is running out of money, that's for sure. He doesn't have any money whatsoever. Minerals at a lowly 50.
Lost it all, dude.
That is so heartbreaking. What a turnaround here from Dione. The 60 SCVs going down was just such a big marker there.
Oh man, I think he stayed in one place too long. Like it was such a big area that when the units were just there standing around, oh yeah, the Banelings had a field day. Like, I'm gonna give you light wet and dead.
No man, like you said earlier on, you need to find those directions, and that was exactly it. The Marines could not concentrate fire. Two directions were just too much to handle, and that was just Dione mopping the floor against the opponents. Zerg Swarm, just such a good way to reinforce all of that. Heartbreaking for JackDReaper, because he lost so many workers in the span of the last 5 minutes. And honestly, this is Dion's to win. What a turnaround, what a play there from Dione. Really shutting down the economics of JackDReaper just by basically forcing the liftoffs with the creep, with the Zerglings running on in. What small macro base plays done by Dione, working so much in their favor. 20 SCVs going down again. It's just so heartbreaking to see this many workers fall. And where is the worker skill? Look at that, ridiculous, Panda. 103 workers have fallen. Here comes the Banelings right now, just destroying everything yet again. Good splits there from JackDReaper, but it's just not going to matter by this point, because Dione, with a 34 worker lead, the only thing that Jack has going for him are these OP mules getting minerals for his bases.
Yeah, unfortunately, JDR is gonna have to tap out here soon. Like, there's no workers left. There's barely enough Marines to be able to defend at this point. I mean, he's even trying to mop out the siege tank, but the Banelings just keep rolling and rolling. And Dione is your first map win.
Victory goes over to the Zerg. It looked very dicey, but when you doubt yourself too much, you have to pay the price. And well played there by Dione. Just those run-bys, just run-ins, just Zerglings at the proper place, at the proper time. Banelings are there as well, and it looked very dicey there for Dione, especially if he actually went for the killing blow, but it just didn't happen.
I was surprised he doubted himself. Like, should I go for the killing blow or not? But he, like he second guessed it. Like, there were like a few units in his base. He got distracted by. I just don't know why he bothered to go back for it, which was a bit of a bad decision in his part. Sorry.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, and highly unfortunate there to JackDReaper, because it honestly looked like after his very well stacked Marine base composition, just shooting up to the Banelings, that could have been just a little more punished there, but that didn't happen. You know, when you use your all army command way too much, sometimes you have to realize that, hey, you don't need to bring everything there. And honestly, if you just left a few Widow Mines littered around the map, that could have been just a good way to shut things down. Like, the Marines are pretty good in en masse, but you know what's good against en masse on its own? The Widow
Yeah.
Mines. Mulas will go down eventually after a few Widow Mine hits. That's like 2 or 3 of them, if I remember correctly. Lings, well, boom goes the dynamites. Banelings as well, and just a little more
Yeah.
proactivity there for Jack, or at least he had a squad in place, a few Marines here and there, siege tanks, like that kind of thing. Feels like just not the best preparation against the speed of Dion's execution, and well, the Zerg player is able to take that victory, and just one map away to moving on to the next round.
Yeah. So it's either going to be the decider or the conclusion to another, maybe another game. But Zen LE. Let's see what these two players can whip up for us. They're gonna whip up a cake, or they're gonna whip up some cheese. Let's go.
What does the cake even mean, Mr. Baker Panda, as we get
Yeah,
confirmation there that Dion
you
took
know,
that first one?
you
Sure.
insert something like from cooking. Of course, I'm gonna make like baking
Okay.
jokes.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you. I'm like, okay, well, what's the
Baking jokes.
context? Sure. So explain to me, how do you make cake? How do you bake
I
a cake,
make
and how does that relate to a StarCraft 2? Come on, enlighten us.
Yeah, when you're whipping up a cake, you're either gonna whip up some matter or maybe some cheesy plays. But what's good on a cake? The icing. Aside from that cheese, you gotta end things immediately, like eating it. Because I love
No,
cake.
no, I'm eating a sandwich right now, just waiting for you to explain more of this bakery
Yeah,
stuff. Honestly,
no, man.
so
I I just love these games, dude.
when are you
Honestly,
gonna open a bakery, Mr. Panda?
dude. Like, I've been discussing these things like in the near future. Maybe if all the drama is over with the quarantine, hopefully it'll be over. Wash your hands, guys. Stay safe, and
No.
probably be. I'm finding locations for it, but here
Mm.
in the south, it's gonna be a bit hard because it's a lot of competition. But gotta be unique. That's all I can say.
Gotta be unique. But speaking of unique, this both from the player's side, we got Dion with a Facebook page actually, Cube Dion SC2. You wanna check out him and his content. If I think he streams again. I'm not too sure,
Mhm.
but you can check that one out. On the other side for Jack the Reaper, shoutouts to Game Evolution Esports, shoutouts from Dion to Team Cube. Basically, shoutouts to all the Cebu StarCraft gamers and players from our two players. So much love indeed. But
Mm.
anyway, it seems like it's time to get into the next match with Panda, and that is going to be Sen LE. And I'm pretty happy. We got a pretty exciting game on 10 Empire. I got to eat the last part of my sandwich while you were talking about your bakery. All is good in the world, and we are having a pretty fun matchup here in round number. What round is this? Round number 3, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's the round two.
No, it's
Oh,
round 3. It's
sorry.
round 3.
Or
It's
you're
round 3.
the brackets, you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, it's round. This is round 3. So yeah, there you
Okay.
go. That's how we're doing good. We're doing fine and dandy. And yeah, ZLE. So now a smaller map, and Jack the Reaper might have a lower of the advantage because it seems like their internal empire. He just wasn't able to handle the size
Mm-hmm.
of the map, the distance where he had to really go, because multiple times he was out of position to really react to the run bys, and since he brought everything, well, he only has one force to actually react with.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, like when he was at that point that he was in the base, actually, I was surprised there were actually banelings from behind. Didn't get to spot that out. But yeah, it was a good flank by Dion right there. Try and just mop and ended things.
True, it's true. It's
Guess you
just
could say he put
mhm.
the icing on the cake.
Remind me never to let you do those segments. That's my thing, okay? It's not for you. Oh my
Come on, man.
god. So, Panda, what's your favorite part of the cake? The icing?
Favorite part of the cake?
Yeah, like the
Nah,
icing, the cake itself, the
honestly, it should be the cake itself because that's what it's about. Like, if you have a good spongy cake, you have a good. If you have a good base, it's all about the cake. To be honest, icing, it's an addition. It's
that's
there,
true.
but It should be the cake itself.
That's true. That's true. I like it when the cake is double layered, and I like it when there are some cakes that have two different flavors. It's really cool, like chocolate and caramel. Oh, that is the best shit for me. I honestly, I love me a good chunk of caramel cake. You know what else is gonna be something that I love is a good match here in our StarCraft 2 quarantine tournament. And seems like
Yep.
it's time to get into the action. Best of three with Dion one ahead. Can he actually seal things up, or will JDR be able to take one back? Let's get into ZLE.
Yeah, yeah.
So here we go, guys. Another round, another map, another matchup in the SCPH quarantine tournament. ZVT action yet again, similar colors one more time, and maybe, just maybe, a seal of the deal here for our Zerg. We'll see if our Terran player can do something about it, as introducing first, on the top right of Zen LE, it is your pink Terran, JackDReaper, and seems like, Mr. Mizzle is lagging. I'm not sure. So
It's
hopefully,
still laggy.
hopefully everything's a-okay. But on the other
Yeah.
side, on the bottom left, it's a purple Zerg instead, Dione.
Yeah, yeah. Up by one game, can he keep it up? We'll see in this match.
I have a question for you. So Extinct likes to put music when I introduce someone. He starts singing. So why is yours like an expression? It's like, yeah, yeah, oh, what's up? Are you trying to make a new rap album or something?
No. It's not really a rap. Like, I've been watching a lot of comedians, and I really like Gabriel Iglesias. Like, when he does his
Ooh.
intros, yeah, dude, the comedy gold. Gabriel Iglesias. Special shout out to that guy. I love that comedian.
Special shout out to a very famous person. Nice.
Yeah, man.
Great to hear. But yeah, Hatch and Pool are coming on up here for Dione. In the meantime, JackDReaper with StanDReaper going for the orbital command. And yes, we have a pretty normal game. So it seems like
Normal
Panda,
game.
we are making this cake properly. We are going by the book. We are gonna get the cookbook. We're not gonna try and put the icing first on top of the cake. We're not gonna
Yeah.
add a lot of random cheese on it. It is just all about making
Random
sure
cheese.
that
Yeah, right. Yeah,
everything
right.
is fine, Mr. SCB. Please
that
don't ruin
base-
my point. What are you doing here, Mr. SCB?
That base of a cake, dude, it's gonna have nuts inside of it. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna put a first layer. Like, damn it, dude, I'm gonna put some nuts in it. Get that extra crunch. You know what I'm saying?
And in all honesty, I have no idea where we are going with this cake
Yeah,
bit.
but I'm-
Like,
I'm-
honestly. That's
Dude,
the
I just
basis.
love where that SCP's placed. It's not
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
get spotted anytime soon.
But now it does.
Oh, come on, dude.
No cheese for you, sir. But you know, the third
Oh,
base starts off from beyond. So Dion is playing pretty greedily, huh? Going for 3 bases immediately. JackDReaper will go for the harassment with that one Reaper, but at the same time, he won't get any real value to harass the middle line. But he doesn't really care because he was able to get the information courtesy of the SCP there instead. So yeah, for Dion, 3 base looking to be set on up. JackDReaper gonna be trying to figure out what's next on the list, going for the tech. And again, we are gonna see the tech lab with the barracks starport coming online. 111 is set on up, and it might be Hellions one more time. Now,
Yeah.
as we get a little bit of lag spike there, I just wanted to note this real quick for JDR. His build actually worked last time. His build worked to such a good degree, but he kind of just threw it away at the penultimate moment, right?
Yeah, like I said, if you second guess yourself in this game and not commit to it, like, you're gonna pretty much phase yourself out of that match. Like, me honestly, if I'm going to cheese, I'm committing to the cheese, man. Like, I'm at one base, shoot, I'm gonna go all in. I don't care. I lose the match, but I lose the match in a way I know how to play the game. That's what's up.
Might as well. So just be comfortable with who you are, where you're from,
Yeah.
what you do, as long as you love what you're doing. But it seems like for JackDReaper, he's gonna be trying to play it defensively. Sets up a bunker onto the second. Dion will be happy about that. We'll just basically capitalize and play a little bit of the macro game. But it's a blast from the past, truly, because it is the Banshee Cloak coming away from JDR.
Yeah. Like,
Really old school builds, man. Like, Panda, if you really look at what
Mm.
JackDReaper does, it really feels like we are back a few years ago. We're not seeing much of the mech orientation. We are seeing the Biosure, but in a very different order. especially with stim pack timing. It's very interesting, the stim pack timing, because isn't the bet right now, if I remember correctly, that you get multiple rats, usually it's like up to 6 or 8, and then you to really time it right, that your combat shield and your stim pack do go online alongside your +1/+1, and then you have all that. So yeah, JackDReaper playing it a little differently, but it's the way it works for him. Well, it is gonna be looking pretty bad for him so far, because Dione is just casually hobbling his way to the main base. The JackDReaper has to go for the lift on up, might get caught mid-transition here. Banshee though is already exposed.
I think he lost more. Dione lost more.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Like, to be fair, these roaches are not going home whatsoever. And now it's just looking for a few kills onto the SCVs, but at the same time, well, it's a pretty good force. The siege tank getting hit. But yeah, now Dione is given the opportunity to decide what the plan is. Turns into the macro orientation instead. Spore crawlers being built. And
even a Spire going down.
Yeah, the Spire as well. So
I guess he's inspired.
I'm done. Okay, I'm turning off the stream.
I'm sorry.
I'm going home. I'm going to nap. I'm already home, but I'm taking a nap. I'm done. Gonna get the Daks questionable in the chat right there. So
yeah, boy.
Okay, where were we on my point?
Yeah,
so Dione lost everything
down.
in terms of the army. The thing about that though is he can play the macro game, so it does put them both basically on even. You have your 3-base Zerg, who does have a few more workers, but JackDReaper is able to play it the way he wants and get the tech structures. He's also overall pretty even fight still. Dione had the advantage earlier on. Now, well, it's not too much of an advantage, but hey, it's fine and dandy. Now we do see the Queens try to cascade on the Banshee, going for the spawning pool. It's the only real target it can go for. And goodbye to the Wailing Ghost, and for Dione, more pressure now looking to be applied. That bunker will look pretty hollow though, that's for sure. It's a pretty cheeky bunker. It's like, hey, we're pretending there's units there, but there's not really anything. Dione though wants to go for the poke, and this might be a perfect time from the Zerglings. If they catch these siege tags mid-transition, that's really going to be a good opportunity. So for Dione, we've seen this basically become his bread and butter build. 3-base mute to play. Very, very effective. Going for the run bys, really getting some really good value with the speed of those Zerglings. And well, now it's time to just fend off these Banshees and get all those flyers that he needs.
Yeah, Dion's in a pretty good spot, and JDR is gonna lose that Banshee for sure. It was actually detected like an inch of its life. Mutas are going to be spawning here. I think JDR is just not getting that that observer in his base. Like, he should have gotten that out of the way. So JDR is going to probably be caught out of place here, and here it is. Mutas are going to be going to the base.
Oh. Yeah, Mutas trying to get there. Will poke at the refinery as a missile turret is into play, and JDR anticipating already the Mutalist trying to go for the missile turret, but at the same time, it's just Dione saying, I'm not gonna go for that. I'm just gonna go for your refinery. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. So looking for a few pokes here and there. Any kind of value here for Dione is gonna be pretty substantial, honestly, because JackDReaper is still trying to even things up, but at the same time, Zergling's gonna be there on the other side. Now here on Zen, this is a pretty good map to defend on the ground base, especially with the fortifications JackDReaper has set on up. But at the same time, you can really see the Mutalists are abusing the geometry of the map, and they're having a field day, just poking at everything and anything in their way.
Yeah. Basically, Dion's just cutting off JDR's units right now. He can't even concentrate on making a proper third base. Excuse me. Yeah, those Mutalists. Oh, dude, he lost like 4 or 5 Mutalists right there.
He lost a big majority of them, and he might have to go for a tech switch again. He's like, these Mutalists are getting no value if they're just gonna die like that. And now for Dione,
like,
you're good.
4 or 5 SCPs just went down, and the refinery, not so great on his side. So,
yeah, it's like 100 minerals, 100 gas. Mutalists are pretty big investment, honestly. It's like they are really good at harassment, but at the same time, if they get harassed back, well, you are gonna be in quite a bit of a pickle. And speaking now of another Mutalist going down. these Bees are really struggling to stay alive in the face of the adversity from these Marines. +1/+1 is online. +1 flyer attack, and here comes Dione with the Cascade on, taking care of the SCV. It seems like the Great Wall of Supply Depots will have a hole in it. And this is Dione doing the exact same thing, but JackDReaper has prepared for it this time. Has his squad of Marines looking for his round, though. Good position there from Dione, catching JackDReaper mid-transition. And yet again, the demolition of these SCVs, highly heartbreaking for JackDReaper, because Dione is doing the same old thing to such a good degree. Speaking of JackDReaper, though,
this time JDR is committing to this attack, but at the same time, he's not even prepared for it. There's so many Zerglings, so many Banelings at this point. Like, JDR's in a position like where he could get Bane busted. Oh, that's a bad spot!
Oh, the Siege Daks are in position. The Banelings trying to go for the Crow! And then Dione getting the Cascade all the way. Didn't even use the Banelings. Enough firepower on those Zerglings, catching out those Siege Daks mid-transition. And well, since the shot don't connect onto the Banelings looking for the bus, this is now Dione looking for the coup de grace. Trying to get the push on, has already made such a big hole. One out on both the army fight as well as the worker pokes. And this is looking really good for our Zerg player. Here comes the Banelings right now, demolishing everything. Good load on intel from JackDReaper to save a few of those Marines. But at the same time, this is the third base saying goodbye. And it might be seeing our GM say goodbye very, very soon.
Oh my goodness, like I timed it so well. As soon as you said goodbye, bro.
Just pat yourself on the back, Panda. Be that way.
Man.
Be that kind of guy.
Yeah, man.
But I just wanna, like, there's such a big contrast right now. So for Dione, he did go for both the run on in as well as the having the army to defend in the proper spots, compared to last game where it was just his army not able to defend properly, and then he got the clutch run on in at the later parts. Now this pretty much puts the Zerg way ahead with 21 workers and double the army count. Does he have the centrifugal hooks yet? No, seems like it's gonna be ready to go, and those Banelings turning into rollers instead. Here comes a quick low potential drop from JackDReaper. Did Dione actually see that one coming? Seems like it wasn't the case. That he's still scouting around onto the eastern side. So for JackDReaper, he's gonna have a chance to get the pokes on. But speaking of the pokes already, the Glaive Worms already tossed onto this turn. Marines are popping that step back. It's time to get on away. Formation is set. And into the main base we go already, going for the pokes as much as possible. Here for Dione, all about harassment honestly. For JackDReaper though, he did have a medevac loaded on in, and it's going for the main base as well. SCV is now going down. What do you think about this harass off, Mr. Panda? Do you think the Mutalists are going to be able to get the big damage there?
They are, like, it's paying.
Oh, the engineering bay! Panda! The engineering bay! If this goes down, it's going to be such a good cancel, but he hasn't realized it! Yeah, oh my god, goodbye to +2.
No, he realized it. Like, he was just taking off the Marines because they don't have heal. It was just microing at that moment. Good for Dione right now. So, man, this is a killing blow right there. Like,
what a shutdown. What a shutdown indeed. +2 now even online. Armor as well as weaponry. And that is just going to be GG. Dione will take this series. And it seems like the 0-X matchup between these two players is gonna get added on with another +1. Dione taking a victory there against JackDReaper. Pretty good series overall, but well, our Zerg player making his race proud and moving on to the next round.
Yeah, so, that was a pretty good match between the two players. They know what they were doing. They were building properly. Even if the Zerg player was floating with a lot of minerals, a lot of resources, it was good money in the bank, dude. Like, it paid for itself. He was just respawning Zerglings after Zerglings, Baneling after Banelings. And JDR also was like spending resources on the dot. There wasn't anything floating, but at the same time, he was creating so many units for defending, even for attacking. But at the end of the day, Dione just swarmed JDR in that match.
Yeah, just Dione with the Mutalist link play is so impressive. 3 bases, all he needs to go for the run in. And for Dione, well, he's floating on minerals half because of the fact that Zerglings are very cheap. And well, you can't really build Mutalists unless you have that gas to go in conjunction with it. So it is what it is. But for Dione, well, very well played indeed. A lot more precise there. as we check out our scoreboard in this best of three. But yeah, ZLE, a lot more efficient compared to Eternal Empire, and I feel like Dio was really able to punish whatever Jack wanted to do,
Hmm.
realizing what kind of build he was going on, what his build order was specifically, and honestly puts the pedal to the metal and just kept on going from there.
Yeah. Um, Pretty good match, as I say again. So for the brackets, we're just going to look for another pair to cast. Uh,
Yeah, we're gonna.
Dax.
That is gonna be the round
Yep.
of the round three matchup going down, and seems like round four matches are also coming our way very soon. So what a match there! I'm glad to have both Dion and JDR into our tournament, but only one can move on, and that is gonna be the moon and the back for Mr. Dion as he gets on through to face off against Floki next on the list. That looks pretty interesting. So we'll be finding out
Mhm.
what our next match is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. This is the SCPH Quarantine Tournament number 3. Stay tuned for your gold to diamond bracket.
Yeah, yeah.